welcome to another episode of Gadgets and Gizmos. And do you feel the chill in the air? Because I do. So the wait is over. We finally have the Nexus devices with us. The Nexus P and the Nexus 5X. They have been reviewed. Of course, these are the devices that bring you the best of the Google experience. And Sahil, who has been preparing very hard for Mr. Olympia, is out there with his review.
Gaurav, you have no idea how excited I am. I've been waiting for both of these Nexus smartphones for some time, and most people aren't even getting their hands on one. But here I have both of them. And I know you're supremely jealous because both these phones are just awesome. So why am I excited about these phones? Well, back in 2013, Google launched a really awesome phone called the Nexus 5. And last year, I was waiting for a successor, and for some strange reason, the company decided to make a huge phone. And then I couldn't buy it. This year, luckily, they've come up with two phones, the smaller Nexus 5 and the larger Nexus 6P. So it's horses for courses, and I'm really happy because I get a compact phone out here, and it's a Nexus, which means it is designed for Android Marshmallow, and it's designed to offer the best possible user experience for Android. So the main reason you should really care about both these phones is because they run the latest version of Android called Marshmallow, designed by Google as it intended it to be. So you don't need to worry about the ugliness of Samsung's TouchWiz UI or get irritated by the nonsensical Sense UI by HTC, because these phones, the UI just makes sense. Moreover, they come with some really cool new features. They've got this new feature called Now on Tap, which is basically a search engine built for your screen. So whatever you have on your screen, you press the button and it will scan everything and it will become searchable. It can be any app, including the Facebook app. There's also a new feature called Doze, which is basically a battery enhancement, and it works wonders for the battery life of both the phones. On the Nexus 5X, you get a smaller 2700 mAh battery and it can easily last through a day. On the 6P, you get a massive 3450 mAh battery and it lasts in excess of a day, sometimes even 2 days, which is quite awesome. Coupled with a new type of charging technology, these phones also charge really fast. I mean really, really fast. So if you're a scrawny person like me and you don't have big hands, then the Nexus 5X is going to work out really well. That's probably the reason I was so excited about this phone, because it's really well built. You can use it with one hand, which is really important. Yeah, it's plasticky, which is kind of cheap, but we dropped it twice and it came out unscathed. It also has this really cool fingerprint scanner on this back. But if you're looking for something bigger and you have really big bucket hands, then we have the new Nexus 6P, which frankly looks drop dead gorgeous with this supermodel like sultry metal finish, and it's got this big white canvas, and it's perfect for a person like my friend Bhaskar, who has these gigantic hands. There he is. See, he's big. I am feeling quite devilish, to be honest, because people often pan Nexus smartphones for their camera, and I tear my head out for some reason. Well, the cameras haven't been great, but they weren't too bad. Well, all of that changes today because these bad boys take great photos. Both of them have been outfitted with a 12 megapixel camera on the back. They get the same camera. They also get a laser autofocus system. By the way, both of these phones can take 4K video. Yes, that's the kind of world we live in, and they are really good at it. On the front, this phone has an 8 megapixel camera, while the Nexus 5X has a 5 megapixel camera. So both of them are going to be really good for selfies. What else do you need, man? Seriously. Here's the bad news. Both these phones are a little overpriced. For instance, the Nexus 5X starts for 32,000 rupees for the 16 GB version. And the Nexus 6P is even more expensive, starts at 40,000 rupees for a 32 GB version. If you love Android, then forget Samsung. These are the phones you need to buy. But at the same time, I'll say, if you like iPhone, then probably these phones are not going to attract you. You won't be convinced.
Well, we have to admit that these days, the smartphones, they look good, man, if not same. They have the latest processors and the cameras, making our job a little more difficult. This week, we have the InFocus M808, and here is the review. Now, reviewing a smartphone is not that easy. You have to define the design, scrutinize the performance, judge the pictures, and yes, wait for the smartphone to die down. Tough task indeed. So this week we have a smartphone from a company called InFocus. It's an American brand which has just entered into the Indian market, and the USP has been the good looking smartphone. This is their budget offering. It's called the InFocus M808, and it's got a full HD display and some pretty good specs on the sheet, and for a price of just 12,999 rupees, it looks good. Now, you know what? It is no doubt the best looking smartphone in its category. We all know this design and we all love this design. So it's a good looking smartphone. InFocus has used all metal here. The anodized aluminum is very well crafted, it's smooth, it's slim, and it feels good to hold. The next thing you will like about the smartphone is its display, which is Full HD. A Full HD display automatically makes the display shine, but yes, it's a good display. The colors and the details are well projected. The viewing angles are good, sunlight legibility is good. Also, a Full HD display makes video viewing an all the more pleasant experience. I could watch more videos on YouTube if the network was good. It has a very good design, no doubt about it. The display, Full HD display, it's always a treat because yes, you are watching things, you're using things, and you want the display to be bright to make things clear. Now let's talk about the software. It's running on Android Lollipop, and they have their own UI on top. So it's neat, simple, and a decent UI. Then you get no app drawer here. Instead, all you get is a home screen and many more home screens. And you can add all those apps in them. Now, where did that fitness app go? Oh, there it is. Besides that, there are some tweaks that they've done here and there, and it's going to be nice exploring those things and figuring them out. Now let's talk about the real deal here, the processor, because at the end of the day, looks are okay, but then the phone has to work, and it should work well. Powering this device is the 1.3 GHz octa-core MediaTek processor along with 2 GB of RAM. Now, that's the standard processing power that you need these days in a budget smartphone. But how does that suffice? The phone takes care of your daily chores, your daily tasks with ease. We open apps, we surf the internet, we watched videos, and we played games. And we face no problem initially because yes, that beautiful metal unibody design will face the heat. More the apps and prolonged usage will heat up the phone, and this leads to performance drop. So don't open too many things and don't use them for too long. Just close the ones you don't need. Otherwise the phone is a good performer. Talking about the camera, the 13MP camera here is not its USP, but it's not bad. Only if you could focus on time and quickly. The image quality is good, colors come out well, with subject details intact if there is good light. It really struggles in indoor light with inconsistent results. The front 5 megapixel camera is decent enough for clicking those selfies. So to sum it up, the InFocus M808 is a very well crafted phone. It's a good looking phone, no doubt about it. The performance is good. All your daily tasks would be dealt with quite nicely. You shouldn't be facing any problem whatsoever. The problem would come with prolonged usage because of the unibody design, the metal unibody design, the processor. The phone tends to heat up. Another problem is the camera, which could have been better, and yes, the battery is another sore point over here. The competition lies in the front, in the form of the Lenovo K3 Note and the Moto G 3rd generation, which offer you a good overall performance. So for the price of 12,999 rupees, the InFocus M08, well, you'll buy this phone because you like beautiful things. OnePlus has made a name for itself. It is a company that makes people wait for that invitation. After launching the OnePlus 2, which didn't really get that overwhelming response as the OnePlus 1, the company is out with their new offering. They call it the OnePlus X.
Over the last year, OnePlus has become a really popular smartphone brand in India. Demand has been really high for both its phones, the OnePlus 1 and the OnePlus 2. Now the company has come up with a new phone. They call it the OnePlus X, and here we are at its launch. We're going to be taking a quick look at it.
With OnePlus X, we aim to start a new product line that provides powerful devices.
As you can see, the OnePlus X is quite a compact device. You'll probably think it's quite similar to the Xiaomi Mi 4 or even the iPhone 5 for that matter. And that would be true because it has got this metal frame surrounding it and it's got these straight lines. Overall, it's very compact. In fact, it's 6.9 mm thin and weighs just 136 grams, which is not too bad at all. It's got a 13 megapixel camera on the back, and OnePlus claims this is the fastest camera they've shipped on device. On front, it's got a 5-inch screen, which again is smaller than what OnePlus has offered in its phones before. It's an AMOLED display and it's got a full HD resolution and looks pretty vivid right now. Overall, it seems like a pretty solid phone, and it's going to catch the fancy of people who are looking for a smaller screen which can be used with a single hand rather than a big screen experience. We will soon have a full review of this phone.
She still doesn't let me play games because my mama says that too much gaming has made my eyes smaller. I mean, how's that possible? Here is our game review for this week.
Lindardomsfullu ríki tómleikans liggur niflheimur, vægðarlaust land misturs og kulda. Við verðum að halda ferðinni áfram.
Some games are great to play, and some are beautiful to watch.
Velja að finna falda fjöldsugur. Ég má ekki missa móðinn.
Jotun is a hand-drawn action exploration game set in Norse mythology. The beautiful design and the awesome soundtracks all come together to create a place steeped in mysticism and reverence. The story is focused on Thora, a Viking warrior who died an inglorious death, drowning while out to sea with her soldiers. Odin, perhaps taking pity on her, offers her the chance to send to Valhalla anyway if she completes his challenge of defeating a selection of Jotun. Giant elemental beings in this case. Before she can face them, she must explore their realms and find their runes, which unlock the path to their domains. As you progress, Thora, voiced in Icelandic, reveals portion of her life story and reflects on the diverse world she's exploring. Along the way, the gods assist her, granting her new powers when she finds their shrines and pays her respects. Otherwise, all she has is an iron axe and an iron will. We learn between stages where Thora's determination comes from a fantastic stately narration performed in Icelandic. Each new piece of her story would be worth it on its own, revealing years of underestimation, neglect, and later a sibling jealousy that turns tragic. Even if the gameplay wasn't as good as it was, being able to help Thora achieve glory would be more than worth the effort. You have a light attack with Thora's axe, a hard-hitting heavy attack with a major deadly and a dodge. Thora can find massive shrines to the gods in each stage, and by praying there, she earns new magical powers specific to each one. Thor allows her to use Mjolnir for a short time. Frigg allows her to heal at will. Loki creates a decoy that eventually explodes after time. But all 6 of the powers have limited uses, and none are what you would call a guaranteed solution to any sticky situation. Primarily, timing, cunning, and luck will get Thora to Valhalla. Each encounter sparks a hectic dance of avoiding massive attacks while navigating environmental pitfalls. Picking the right moment to strike back is almost always a tough challenge. And though much of the fights revolve around memorizing their attack patterns, this is an indie game that's had a lot of hard work poured into it by a talented team of programmers, composers, animators, and artists. It was successfully funded on Kickstarters last year and was greenlight on Steam in less than a week. Jotun is a short game, and good players can probably plow through it in about 3 or 4 hours. But even with ending behind us, we find ourselves dying to witness some images again and wanting to try different strategies. We want to hear Thora tell her tale again. Any good bedtime story that makes you want to hear it again right after it's over is one for the ages.
Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was here in India for that town hall Q&A. He spoke about a lot of things, most important being that he promised that he will look into those annoying Candy Crush requests. All this and more on Tech News.
Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was in India this week for Town Hall Q&A at IIT Delhi, where he said that his firm is working on an open framework and continues to lobby for net neutrality, even as it plans to provide free internet access to people under Free Basics program, which faces some criticism. Zuckerberg was speaking at the town hall at IIT Delhi, where he went on to answer audience questions for 1 hour. Zuckerberg further said, "When you have a mission of connecting 1 billion people, you cannot do it without India." Diwali is around the corner and most e-commerce websites are gearing up for festive seasons with deals and discount. Chinese phone manufacturer Xiaomi has also decided to join the celebration by offering new deals and offers that look too good to be true. The company will be organizing a couple of flash sales and offering Xiaomi products on incredibly low price. Xiaomi will be organizing a ₹1 sale on November 3rd, 4th and 5th. Google to merge Chrome OS into Android as per reports. The end of the humble Chromebook may just be near, or is it? Chromebooks, perhaps the one and only high-profile nest of Google's in-house Chrome OS, may be on their way out, and Android OS has got a lot to do with it. Motorola Moto X Force with shatterproof screen is coming to India in November. Just an odd couple of days after launching the flagship Droid Turbo 2 in the US, Motorola Mobility has announced that phone will be available as Moto X Force in international markets, including India. Also, the new Moto X Force, which is essentially Droid Turbo 2 minus the Verizon logo and its accompanying bloatware, will be available internationally starting from November. The shatterproof screen, which is the main USP of the phone, will not crack or break with ease, according to the company.
Alright, with that it's a wrap. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed watching an episode. We'll be back next week with more and a little more of gadgets and gizmos.